All right, next up, Jay Martin is an attorney and former state representative. Now, he says he's a leader and an outsider who's ready to be Chief Justice.
Well, the Chief Justice is not only an appellate judge, but also the leader of the judiciary branch of state government. And I have the opportunity to lead in lots of different arenas. I'm a volunteer pastor, ordained minister, leading a campus church, a First Assembly of God in North Little Rock, our inner city campus, Metro Little Rock. So I've had the opportunity to work hands-on with folks in the neighborhood and trying to help folks in the neighborhood. And I've also had the opportunity to lead in the legal profession. I've led a small law firm, running a small business, having to make payroll, getting to represent lots of Arkansans, small businesses. And I've also been a leader in the legislature. I was majority leader back in the 84th General Assembly. So I have a lot of leadership. I'm an outsider to the court, though. I've never been a judge. I think our outgoing Chief Justice was also an outsider to the Supreme Court. And I think that's a good role to play in leading the Supreme Court, to be the outsider to the court.
Martin says justice in Arkansas needs to be safe and accessible.
I want to make sure that we have a good distribution of resources so that our judges have access maybe to law clerks and people that can help them make decisions. We need to go ahead and follow through with Justice Kemp's work to make sure that all of our courts are on Court Connect and so that filings can occur wherever you are, by the internet. So, but that's one side. The other side is that I really want Arkansas to take the lead in the nation in access to justice and access to the courts. I really want to see lawyers and to the extent judges can, I want us to be a state that really sets the mark on pro bono services. I've run a free legal clinic once a month in the church that I lead, Metro Worship Center, for underprivileged folks and underserviced folks. We really need to make sure there's access to justice, and particularly in our civil courts. More and more people are representing themselves, and I think Arkansas can really lead the way in helping bridge the gap between people that are unrepresented by counsel and the legal representation that they need. And so I think we really need to see if Arkansas can be the state that might lead the nation in helping people have access to attorneys who are willing. The rules of professional conduct require that attorneys provide so many hours each year of pro bono services. And so, I think that's good. That's something I've tried to do, and I know other attorneys strive to do that as well. But I think we need to make sure that we're providing those hours and, working with our law students and our law schools. We really need to provide services to people who can't afford attorneys.
Martin says he's a leader who will protect Arkansans.
Being that independent voice, protecting our Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and making sure that judges and the judiciary is viewed well by its citizens, by we the people who are actually in charge of the government in every branch, and make sure that there's access to justice and that all of our courts, as I said earlier, are safe places and places where judges have the resources that they need to help them wherever they are at in the state to make decisions that will help the people.